Welcome to the Children's Book Talk, our Friday book talk. Um, let's make sure we're rolling here. Thank you for joining me. Yes, let me know you're here. I'll give you a shout out. Um, so I kind of um, when I do my book talks, I do fiction, graphic novels, series, beginner chapter books, and I haven't done graphic novels in a while. So I have four graphic novels today. The first one is Katie the Cat Setter, and this is by Colleen Venable. And this is Katie, and school is almost out, and her two friends are going to camp. But Katie and her mom, it's just the two of them. Her mom can't afford to send her to camp for the whole summer. But Katie has got the idea that maybe she could go for one session towards the end of the summer if she gets a job. And her mom says, "This is a great idea. I'll do what I can too." So she puts up a sign in her apartment complex that she'll do anything: carry groceries, water plants, pet sit, anything for any amount of money. And so the first little old man wants her to help her carry groceries. He's actually stronger than her, and she ends up breaking the bag open and breaking his eggs, and it's just a complete failure. And so she crosses it off the list, and he gives her $1 and says, thank you for your help. So then she is a plant setter for a lady that loves her plants. She's got a whole plant wall, and she manages to kill these plants in 3 days' time. And I understand how that feels because that's what I do. So she has to scratch that off her list. And so a lady in the apartment complex sees her, that Katie is just frustrated and sad. She has ripped her sign down. She doesn't know how she's going to get money. So this lady comes to her apartment and slips a card under the door, and she said, if you could watch my cat, I would be grateful. Come see me in apartment number whatever. And so she says, yeah, I'll give you $30 a night. She says, it's overnight. I'm really in a hurry. And Katie's like, well, okay, that sounds wonderful. I don't really know how to cat sit. When do I feed them? And she just kind of runs out the door. It'll be fine. You're great. So she gets inside, and there is 217 cats. And these are not normal cats. They have got skills: motorcycle maintenance, music expert, graphic designer, housekeeping, mouse and expert, ninja, indie filmmaker, which at the back of the book, um, you actually see all the cats and everything they do. And so she's like, I do not know what I'm in for. They actually call for pizza. These are like super cats. Well, also in her city, there is superheroes and supervillains. And lately, her city has been bombarded by supervillains. So everybody is very careful. Her mom doesn't want to leave the building. Things are not good. And so night after night, she watches these cats, and they will trash the place. And then right before the woman comes home, they're sewing the sofa that they scratched, and they're like magic cats. And she's beginning to think, I don't think Miss Madeline is who she says she is, and she can't decide if she's a superhero or a super villain. So, if you like cats, you would like this story because these cats are pretty silly. This is Katie the Cat Sitter by Colleen Venable. And the next one is also about superheroes, but these are super sidekicks. And this is called No Adults Allowed. And this is Gavin Ong Fan is the author. And so we have these sidekicks. We have Dynamite, who is actually um, the dinosaur, and we have Fly Girl, and we have Junior Justice, and they are the junior versions of superheroes. And they have to clean the house, they take care of their pets. I mean, they do all the kind of the yuck work that nobody wants to do. And then the superheroes go out and save the day and have these interviews on TV, and yet it's these kids that are doing all the work. And so they have decided they've had enough. They're not going to do anymore. And so they gather together and they're like, okay, we're going to come up with our own set of superheroes. We are going to be the super sidekicks. So while they're in this meeting, Goo comes, and he is actually the sidekick of the evil villain, Dr. Enoch. And so as soon as they see him, they're like, oh my gosh, we got to get rid of him. And he's like, no, no, I come in peace. I don't like to be treated as badly. He is not good to me either. And he just begs them, please, please, can I be in your group? And it takes some convincing, but they're like, okay, you can be in our group. So now the superheroes barge into this meeting that they're having, and they're like, okay, I need my toilets cleaned, I need some groceries. And they're like, no, we're not doing this anymore. Well, they see Goo, and they know right away he's the bad guy, and they try to attack him, and the kids try to save him. And in comes Dr. Evil Enoch, and the kids try to take him on, the superheroes try to take him on, and they just can't. He's in like this robot flying machine, and he ends up getting Goo back. And so then the kids are mad, like, you need to help us. And so they all try to help. And even with the big adult superheroes, they go to Dr. Evil's um, lair, and it's a little bit too much for them to handle. So check it out, see what happens. This is Super Sidekicks, No Adults Allowed by Gavin Ong Thon. This next one is Pepper Page Saves the Universe, and this is by Landry Q. Walker. And this is Pepper, and she lives in the future, like very far in the future. Like, her history is the year 2792. So there's flying cars, there's robots in her home. And again, her history, the past, is 2792. And she is obsessed with comic books. And of course, she's in the future, but she has paper comic books, which is very, very rare. And she loves Supernova. That is her all-time favorite comic. And she is a female superhero. And she knows every comic front and back. She knows what's on the cover. She can say, episode 6 or comic number 6. She knows exactly what happens. And she's reading these comics all the time. So even when she's in school, she's not paying attention. She's reading comics. And she is not really even part of the real world. Everything that she talks about, she kind of refers to something that happened in Supernova's comic. So on the way to, and she's an orphan. She lives in an orphanage. So she's very outcast from school because she doesn't have any family. She's always got her head in a comic book, but she does have a couple friends, and they're on the bus. And she's also plays the sport hollow ball, and really she doesn't want to play it either, but she has to. And the team doesn't want her, but they need her as a number. And so Strona, she's the captain, she gets a hold of her on the bus, and she says, if you do not come to the regionals tonight, we're going to lose the game. We just need you there for a warm body. We don't want you to play because you're horrible. And she's like, yeah, I don't want to play either. And she always kind of doesn't come to practice or the games because she's always got her head in a comic book. And Strona threatens her, excuse me, and says, if you don't come tonight, we're coming for you. And there's going to be trouble. Her two best friends, they try to back her up, but they're like, just go to the game, sit on the bench, read your comic. You're just a number, you're a body. So she has a horrible day at school. She's in her history class, and this evil history professor, he catches her reading her comic book again, and he is tired of it. And he kind of puts her down and makes her feel bad. But then he kind of changes his way of talking to her, and he says, I am doing a science experiment. Why don't you come to my lab tonight at midnight? He asks her this after class, and he gives her a key. Well, she loves science and she is thrilled. But he tells her, yeah, I really want you to clean my lab. So it is spick and span for my experiment. She's kind of bummed, but she's like, anything where she can do something with science. And she's walking away and she's kind of thinking, why does a history professor have a science lab? But she doesn't really think anything of it. So um, as class lets out, she drops all of these paper comics. They're all over the hallway. They're trampled, torn. She's trying to gather them all. And lo and behold, she misses the regional game. She misses the bus. She's not there. She's done exactly what Strona asked her not to do. And so she runs to the theater and she's hiding. She doesn't really have any place to go. And of course, it's a supernova comic movie that she's there. Her friends track her down and they're like, you need to apologize. And she's like, yeah, I think this time apology won't be enough. So on their way home, Strona and the rest of the girls on the team, they stalk her, and they're going to give her what for. And so they start running through the woods, and all of a sudden they come up to this science lab, and she remembers she has the key. It's not anywhere near midnight, but at least they can get inside and they're safe. So they get in there and they see the professor is already there, and it's way before midnight, and he's walking down the hall with a cat in a cat carrier, and he's talking about an experiment that he's going to do on this cat. Well, Pepper is like, no, this cat is innocent. We got to save the cat. And so they run into this lab, and the cat is, sitting on this table, and there is this beam of light on it, and she runs up there and grabs the cat. And now she is in this beam of light. And he is like, well, this is what I wanted to do anyway. I was going to do it on this cat first, and then you. Now we're just going to do a little bit earlier. The countdown has started. He cannot reverse it. She's starting to feel warm and tingly. And before you know it, boom, she is falling through space. And she ends up in our time, or, so it's like really old history to her. But she ends up in our time. And she realizes that she is supernova. I can't tell you anymore, but figure out how she gets this evil professor taken care of. What does she find out about herself? Does she save the cat? What kind of shenanigans does she get up to? This is Pepper Page Saves the Universe by Landry Q. Walker. The last one, this is good for this time of year. All My Friends Are Ghosts by S.M. Vadari. I hope I've said that right. This is Effie here in the center, and she hates school. And as the story starts, she is faking a fever and she is puking. But it's not really puke. It's canned vegetable soup that her mom was looking for the night before. And her mom's on to her. She says, yeah, you're going to school. Anyway, just go. Well, she misses the bus. She has to walk to school in the rain. She gets there. She's late for class. As she's walking down to her desk, somebody trips her. I mean, she's not treated very well in school. She's just miserable. And she has to write something about an animal, and she can't quite get on a paper, although she loves to write. And as she's tripped, one of her nasty classmates finds the beginning of her story about werewolves, and she's kind of makes fun of her in front of the whole class, like these aren't real animals. So she runs out of the room. She makes it through the day, The next day, she just skips school altogether. She doesn't get on the bus and she's walking through the forest. She's just trying to clear her head. She just needs a little me time. And she runs into these ghosts. And this is Nikki, this is Beulah, and this owl is Kame. And they help lost souls. And she's walking through the forest. She's feeling the worst that she can in her life. They want to help her. And at first, she's afraid because little Nicky, he can transform into anything, and he's this big kind of dragon thing, and he kind of scares her. Um, so the next day, she skips school again. She comes to the forest. She finds them again, and they're like, okay, we're in the forest because we're also skipping school. So they have like a ghost school where they can learn how to help save souls. And they're like, why don't you come to school with us? And she's like, okay, well, I'm a human. And so they somehow, they get her dressed up in this crazy outfit, and she gets into the school. So she's actually got one of those Billy Bass things over her face, because if they see her face, they're going to know. I mean, she's got wings. Okay, and the ghosts are blue, so they're very concerned that her dress she has on is yellow. But the first class, she makes it through. They don't realize that she's a human. The second class, they absolutely know. It's Miss Heck is her name, and she's a cat, and she's very wise, and she knows immediately that there's a human in her room, and they plead the teacher, can she stay? And she's like, she can stay. She says, but we are having a quiz today, and they call it a haunt pass. And so these ghosts have to go through all these different tests and obstacles. It's scary, it's fun, it's dangerous, and remember, she's human. She doesn't go through walls, she doesn't float, she can't fly. So check this out to see how did she make it through. Um, is there a happy ending for poor Effie? Because she does not have a very happy life. This is a shorty. It's a very cute book. So this is All My Friends Are Ghosts by S.M. Badari. So that is my 4 books for the day. Thank you for joining me, Donna. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next Friday. Bye.